Well, it wasn't the outcome you wanted, but boy, you went toe-to-toe with a top 10 team, and I think you have to be impressed about a lot of things you said.
Yeah, I said it after the game. There was a lot of positives that came out of the game, but not enough still at the end of the day. And Ole Miss is a good football team. On the road, they ran the ball well, explosive offense. Defensively, they played well. So overall, I think early in the game, just the slow start, a couple turnovers, that becomes a factor. But I am proud of our guys, how hard they fought to stay in that game. It just comes down to a few plays and ultimately finishing the game like that on the road and finding a way to win. We got ourselves back in the game, and I was proud of our guys for that. We just, at the end of it, you run out of time. You're playing against a good team, and that's what happened.
How's CJ stand right now? What's his CJ? Your
TJ?
Yeah. What's his status appear to be right now?
Yeah, I think this week I'd say this for all of our guys. This will be a really beneficial week for us. We have a lot of guys banged up, and we got guys that in that last game they came out, they came back in, they showed a lot of grit. But we need this week to get healthy. We also need this week to really focus on ourselves and the stuff that we have to do to be a better football team. And there's plenty of work to always do, even during the season, on your fundamentals, on just the execution, and then getting our guys in the right position to be successful. So we'll get a chance to get everybody healthy, TJ being a part of that as well. And then, see where we are on the other side of this week when we start really preparing for Arkansas.
What did Saturday do for the confidence of this team as far as getting things and putting things together?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think you saw some positives. And that was the goal in that game, to go play confident, go out there and really cut it loose. So that goes back to your preparation. Can you really go play like that? If you prepared properly, you can. And I thought we had a lot of guys that did it in the game. But you take away the run game, we ran the ball for 300 yards. There were some good things we did in the pass game. The turnovers we have to eliminate. And then ultimately, defensively we got to play better. They ran the ball effectively. And so we know we're better than that. We've showed that in games. We didn't get it done in this last one. But you go back, look at the things we did well, the things that we should have done better, and the reasons why. That's really what it comes down to. It's not that you didn't do it right. It's that this was the reason why it didn't go in our way. And you can really pinpoint that to one or two things. And when you break it down that way, it's not something insurmountable. It's just one or two things that we can correct and be a little bit better at that changes that play. And then ultimately can change the outcome of the game. So when you see it from that standpoint, you sit back on a Sunday and review it, you really see you're not that far off, but that margin for victory is very small. And so you got to execute, you got to put guys in the right position to be successful, and that's on everybody to do that. But ultimately, that gives you confidence when you know that you're not that far away, but that little bit's really hard to get, and that's what you have to get better at, especially in a week like this, during a bye, and then using that extra week to get ready for Arkansas.
How have you shut out the clutter on your job status? It's all over the internet, everywhere you look. How are you dealing with it?
It's not everywhere I look. I mean, that's number one. Yeah, that's not where I go. I mean, I really, I've said it before. I mean, I go back, and it doesn't matter where I've been and what I've done. I always focus on the job I have to do and control the controllables. And I learned that a long time ago, and I don't know if that's just something that I'm very grateful for, that I learned that as a young coach, just to focus on the task at hand and to have the discipline to do that. And to me, that's what I think everybody should do. I think when you get caught up in things that are out of your control, it doesn't matter what you do. We're talking football. I think that's going to be a disaster for anybody because it happens to everyone. And so stay focused on the things you can control. Know that it's pretty matter of fact in certain situations. If we do this, we'll be better. At the same time, keep developing yourself as a person. Be a good husband, be a good father, be a good leader. All those things are still the most important thing. And it will translate into football and how we go out there and finally execute a plan and put it together and get guys in the right spot to win football games. And we know that. And so I get to see it every week. And I got confidence in our staff and our players and what we're doing. And they got to do the same things, keep controlling what we can. That's all that matters.
The thing I've noticed is how much your players love you, play for you, buy into you. What's the relationship like with those guys?
Yeah, well, it's again that's something that you build as the season goes on, but you build that long before the season, and you build that by going on on hikes together. You do that by having events together with your team, by having dinners together, by having conversations with your players, by talking about life lessons and things that you're going to take away through the game of football. To me, that's the most important thing, and that translates into the job that we get a chance to go do, which is on the football field. So, at the end of the day, I think, my kids, they're at the same age as our players, and as a parent, you want your children to be around somebody that's going to help them continue that development that you've put into them as a parent. And because the 4.5 years, there's no guarantees of what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen in the career of a player. What you can do is you can help that person get better. You can help develop their personal growth and their habits and their disciplines and the things they do to be better people, how they treat people, how they go to class. All those things that are going to make them more successful when they leave your program. And ultimately that will show up on the field as well. To me, I think if you look at our program, that stuff matters. It matters to us. And we're going to keep doing that. And the reason we'll get where we want to be in our football program is because of that. And the one thing we can't do is let anything distract us from continuing to keep building the culture, building this team, building the relationships and the value that we want to have in our program. That will show up on the football field soon enough. It will. And we got to stick to that, and we got to believe in that, and we can't let anything distract us from continuing to create that in our program.
One more. Coach, have you talked to your president or any trustees about your future? Do you just expect it to be an end of the season review as normal?
Yeah, I've answered it, several times. I mean, the same thing. We're just focused on the stuff we have to do and the task at hand. That's always going to be our focus, and continues to be for our staff and every player too.
Thank you, Coach.
Good. Thank you.